Hi, thanks for joining me today. I'm Danny from The Glittered Rose. You can find me under that name over on Instagram. I have a pretty cool spread to share with you today, and I know it's not going to be everyone's cup of tea. I'm sorry, Bobette, but it is totally my cup of tea. So I'm happy to share it with you. It features two of my own main focal images along with a sort of a stampy background. I just love it. I think it's so cool. So I've sort of picked up colors that feature in those focal images and used it in the background. I don't know, I just sort of had fun. It was no pressure, easy to do, and I really enjoyed doing it. So I've made this collage sheet, and it's called Bleeding Hearts, and I made this collage sheet because in the Glittered Roses, which is my Facebook group, Mary has chosen hearts for this month's theme, and I think it's a great theme. So um, I just had fun making this. I'm not a particularly romantic person. I'm sure my husband would say she's not very romantic. So this was my take on, I guess, Valentine's Day. I haven't been creating in my smaller art journal, so it was fun to create in this size again. I think the images are fun. There's sort of something a little different this time round. The colours were something a bit different for me to create as well. So let me know down below which image you like on this sheet. The sheet I'm going to pop up in my Ko-fi shop. For those who are new to my channel, I have a Ko-fi shop. It runs on a subscription model. So for $5, you get access to, I think there might be 22 collage sheets in A4 and letter size. For $5 a month, you can download as many as you want for $5 a month, and all the individual images. It's an absolute bargain. The link is in my description box below. Be sure to check it out. It's a bargain. All right, let's get into it. Okay, so for those who are new to my channel, I make my own art journals. I just like the freedom of um, making them how I want them. So I make them with lovely quality watercolor paper so that they can, take a lot of wet media, and I can pull the paper out and, not worry about too much about what's underneath. I just like to be able to create this way, and having them the size that I want. So I'm just going to tape them down to the table, and I just like better press paper because it's low tack, but it's also really strong. I need to order some more. I'm going to use this beautiful stamp set from Tim Holtz. It's French Garden CMS 487. And I'm not sure why I've taped it down onto the onto my table because it's not going to fit in my MISTI, I don't think, like that. So no, I'm going to have to pull it apart again. I wasn't sure how I wanted this background to go, so I think I've changed my mind a million times. Okay, so I'm just going to randomly place some of these gorgeous stamps on this piece of paper and work out how I want them to go. The good thing about a stamping platform is that you can just work it out all at once when you do like a a collagey background. You don't have to try and work it out bit by bit. I'm just going to use some archival ink in a brown, but any permanent ink will work. I don't have any brand loyalty. As I'm using watercolor paper, I'll have to stamp a couple of times. I don't want it to be exactly the same, so I'm just changing the stamps now, just so there's a little bit of variation from the left to the right. I like these large stamp sets. I like that there's lots of different options. I think this background will be a really interesting mix with these focal images because the focal images are kind of, even though they're skulls, they're sort of almost modern and kind of funky looking, and these are so vintage and romantic looking. I think it's kind of a fun mix. Even though the skulls are funky looking, I think they're sort of vintage as well. So I think they'll go well together. All right, that's looking good. Tape these down again. All right, I'm going to give this a dry off just to make sure that it's completely dry and set before we use any wet media. I'm well, across the colours of the Tim Holtz range. So I think I'm going to use the Tim Holtz range of products for this. So I really want to sort of match the colours that are in the images that I'm going to use in this spread. I don't use my watercolour pencils enough. So I'm going to use that in this background, those in this background. So I'm going to use the picked berries for the flowers very, very loosely. Um, just going to pop a bit of colour down. I'm not worrying about light and shade. I'm just going to pop some colour down and then pop a bit of water down. Really not worrying too much about it at all. Just popping it down. Don't judge my colouring in skills because I'm really not worrying about it. Um, I think that the colours will really match the colours in the images. I'll pop some down on these berries as well. These watercolour pencils, while they're nice, they're really not for fine watercolouring. Okay, so I've just got my watercolour brush and I'm just loosely going over it just to loosen up um, those strokes. Again, not worrying too much. I just want it nice and loose just to put the colour down. I'm not sure how much we'll be able to see at the end. Just want a little bit of the colour peeking through. These do have a really great smell about them. I'm not sure what it is. Just going with a greeny yellow now. So I think that the background of these images that I want to use really looks like iced spruce. Um, so I'm going to use ice spruce with a little bit of water in the background. And I'm going to use my Lavinia Stamps mop brush and just loosely mop that on in the background of this spread and see how I go. I've never done anything like this, but in my mind, I think it should work, and we'll see how it goes. Um, what's the worst that can happen, right? I'll hate it. Hopefully I won't because it's on the back of a spread that I love. So we'll see how it goes. It's pretty similar. I think it should be okay. Excuse my arm there. Those flowers to drip out a bit. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I want that loose sort of watercolory look. Just get a bit more ink. Try not to get the paper too wet because I've got to maintain the integrity of the pattern on the back of the paper. I'm liking this. I think it's looking really nice. There's an ice cream truck. This is full of excitement on my street. My husband's taken the kids down and they're waiting in line for their ice cream. They better come and give me a bite. It's a nice way for them to end their Christmas holidays back at school. I'll just give this a dry off and we'll be back with the next step. Okay, so now I've grabbed out a stencil and I'm just popping through some crypt paste from Distress. Oh, this is Brit crypt paste. and this is sort of a gritty texture paste. I like this stuff. It actually dries fairly quickly and has a sort of a grungy kind of a texture. Um, I don't need to wait forever for it to dry. And this texture paste is by sorry, this stencil is by Finnabair, I think. So the stencil's fantastic. It's a sort of A4 size and it's in 4 sections, so it's nice and fine for um, fine or small um, areas. So it's fantastic for small spaces like this. So I'm just picking out some random spots, probably 3 on each section, and sort of thinking about 3 spots on either side that work together when I look at them as a pair. So they'll flow nicely from left to right. That's looking pretty good. I'm going to clean up the stencil and let it dry, and then I'll be back. Alrighty, so I've cut out my images and I'm just sort of working out the placement for them. I think something like that looks nice. So I've got one rose head showing and then the berries. I know that I want to use my Liquitex. I'm just not sure what color Liquitex. So I've grabbed down a muted grey, which tends to be more on the purple side, and a sepia. I'm not sure which one will go. I want to use the Liquitex because it catches in the grit paste. See what I mean? It's more purple than grey. So this is called muted grey, but it's muted purple. I'm just looking at the image and it sort of does actually match the image, and that's the sepia. Uh, when I see that sepia, I'm going to go the grey or the purple. Really don't need a lot of this because it's so highly pigmented. Just a little bit. Just got to keep in mind that the distress items will constitute. So I don't want to use too much water with the Tim Holtz products because I do find it to be quite annoying. And just use this with a brush. That just really sort of picks up that texture paste or the grit paste and highlights it. show you what I mean. See the color up in the skulls? It's the same sort of tone. So I think that was a good choice. I'm just going to blend the outside now with some oxide ink, just to bring your eye into the middle. This is, and as I'm doing it, I can't say I particularly like that effect. I wish I used a chalk. Oh well, too late now. I think on top of the sort of the watercolory background, I just think it's too much. It needed sort of more of a sharp line. Okay, time to glue these down, and I'm gonna finally crack open this Couture Creations glue that I've had sitting on my shelf for, I don't know, a year or something. Oh, that grabs on pretty quick. I'm a bit tired of having to fight with my Barely Belly Arts pin. If this nozzle stays unclogged, I'll be a happy girl. First impressions, I think that Couture Creations glue looks promising. I like it. Do you know what? It's not too late. I'm grabbing out my chalk, and I'm going to give it a harsh line around the edges. It just didn't look right without it. Yep, that looks better to my eye. It's coming together now. It's funny how small things like this can really make a difference. Yep, not gonna do that. Not gonna run the risk. Got this cool matte black button, and they've just had a really big back on it. So I just use my metal snippers and just snip the back off it. Pretty proud of myself, and it just cut the back of the button off. And I'm gonna pop that on there. And it's not going to sit out too far now. Look at that. Perfect. I think the saying, listen to your heart, is nice. I think that will work down there. The other page looks a bit busy, so I think I'll pop it there, even though it's got the button. And then I'll grab out a Stabilo wall and go around the focal images, and then I think we might call it done. Well, I feel like we've got a lot of black on this page, so I thought I'd do something a little bit different and grab out my blue Stabilo wall, which doesn't look like I've ever used it. So we'll go around it with blue and see how that looks. Which, to be honest, I'm not 100% sure. I might regret this, but oh, sort of makes the image pop, so it mightn't be too bad after all. We'll soften it up with a lot of water. Sort of goes with the sort of washy background that we've got going on. That's pretty cool. Kind of pops. To be a bit careful going down here. Too much water. I think I'm going to call that done. I'm going to pop it into my art journal and we'll have a close look. And here we are, all finished. I have to say, I'm really happy with the results. Thanks go to Mary for a great theme for the Glittered Roses. If you're interested in joining the Glittered Roses, I'll be sure to link the URL in the description box below. We're a really friendly group. We all do something a little bit different. We'd love to have you. It's we're a great group of we are a small group. We all do something a bit different, and we'd love to have you with us. If you're interested in getting your hands on a copy of the Bleeding Hearts collage sheet, be sure to check out my Ko-fi shop. It's only $5 a month. It's a real bargain, and you can get yourself a copy of, I think, 22 different collage sheets for $5 a month. And I upload a new collage sheet every week, or thereabouts, and you get access to everything. So in A4 and letter size, and every individual image so that you can print them as small or as large as you want. There are a few rules. You're not allowed to resell the images, but you can sell, things that you make using the images. I'd really love it if you could leave me a comment and let me know what you think of the spread or what you think of the collage sheet. Um, Hit the like button, um, and subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. Thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate everybody who takes the time to watch and leave me a comment. It's really fantastic. So let your friends know about my channel. I'm really trying to grow it. Um, Thanks so much, guys. Till next time. Bye for now.